I want to bring in Rodney Harrison. He is a CBS News law enforcement contributor and former police commissioner for Suffolk County, New York. Rodney, how do you evaluate from a basic tactical perspective what played out early Saturday morning involving the death of Alex Pretti?
Yeah, Major, thank you so much for having me on the show. And first and foremost, I want to share my condolences with the Pretti family. This is an absolute tragedy that has occurred, as well as the situation that happened with Renee Good. But if you just take a look at the beginning parts of this situation, I have some questions. And when you take a look at what was the de-escalation strategy that was in place, I know there was an initial engagement with Mr. Pretti trying to move him out of their what they called a crime scene and trying to get him back on the sidewalk. There were a couple of other observers that were also engaged with the agents that got shoved into the snow and that Mr. Pretti tried to help up. But then it got to a point where the agents were in a place where they were going to put Mr. Pretti under arrest. And one of the agents observed a firearm in his back and pulled it out of his waistband. The question that I have is, did that situation get relayed over to the other agents? Did the other agents know when the one agent that pulled out the gun and they were screaming, gun, gun, he has a gun? Did the other agents know that at that time, Mr. Pretti was unarmed? And, you know, you could see a situation where they were trying to put his hands behind his back. It seemed like Mr. Pretti might have been resisting in some way, and his hands were not visible, which I'm sure led to a level of fear for the agents, which unfortunately led to one of the agents pulling out their firearm and unfortunately killing Mr. Pretti. So a lot of concerns, a lot of questions need to be answered. There needs to be an investigation, a neutral, unbiased partnership investigation with the federal as well as the state investigators to try to get down to the bottom of this and see what they could do to make sure these incidents don't happen going forward.
Rodney, I'm glad you raised all those questions, and I want to bore in, if I could, on what you just said about the necessity of a joint and cooperative investigation, because right now, according to the FBI and Homeland Security investigations, they will handle this investigation by themselves. The state of Minnesota has asked for access in the Renee Good matter and the Alex Pretti matter. How do you regard that request from the state? And historically, are these investigations typically cooperative and joint state-federal?
So just based upon my history of seeing incidents like this being investigated, there's usually a partnership. I think we could all agree that there's a division in this country right now. And if it's being investigated by one agency, there may be some biases involved with the investigation. So I do have some concerns. I think there should be a partnership and to make sure that all the information is provided and there's also a level of transparency and, if need be, some accountability involved as well.
You also mentioned de-escalatory options in general, and I know it's a very intense, stressful atmosphere in Minneapolis for lots of different reasons. Is the general tactical suggestion, if not training, is to de-escalate situations so they do not result in the use of deadly force? And if so, what other options did those federal officials who were convening on Alex Pretti have that they perhaps did not exercise?
Listen, the one thing that I'm not going to do is Monday morning quarterback what I saw based upon the video. I know there was a little bit of resistance from the observers. I'm not sure how expanded the crime scene was that was might have been violated by the individuals that were trying to take film of the incident. But I will say this: pushing an observer into the snow is not a de-escalation tactic. Using some type of chemical irritant for somebody that's not violently resisting is not a de-escalation tactic. So, just taking a look at some of the federal standards when it comes to training throughout the country for law enforcement agencies, This is not prioritized. There are no standards. And this is something that I'm hoping that all law enforcement agencies around the country take a look at. What are they doing to make sure that their agents, their officers are getting the appropriate training when it comes to civil unrest and First Amendment engagement?
Rodney Harrison, great, great stuff. So important. I really thank you for your time and your expertise.
My pleasure.